433,648. Let that number sink in, because that is the number of women who are raped and sexually assaulted in just 1 year. I grew up with a mother and a younger sister, so this number frightens me, as I'm sure it frightens all of you as well. Women tend to be smaller and not as strong as a man on average. There's exceptions to the rule, of course, but how can a woman who is smaller in stature be able to defend herself against a larger man? The answer to this? Martial arts. But not just any martial arts. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu could save 433,648 women from being violently attacked and raped. So today I'm going to teach you a little about the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the superior self-defense mechanism for women. It began with a man named Carlos Gracie in 1917, who went and watched a canoe jiu-jitsu demonstration taught by a man named Medea. After watching the demonstration, he decided he wanted to learn. Medea accepted Carlos as a student, and Carlos taught under him for about 5 to 6 years. He then brought that information back to his brothers, specifically his younger brother, who became immersed in canoe jiu-jitsu. He loved it. But canoe jiu-jitsu utilized a lot of judo. And judo is a martial art that utilizes size and strength to throw an opponent. But Helio was a small man in stature, so he could not perform the many different judo throws. So Helio gradually developed his own martial arts that he called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It was a softer, pragmatic adaptation that focused more on the ground fighting and leverage aspects of judo, rather than the throws that he was unable to perform. Therefore, in 1920, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was created. It is now the most widely respected and used martial arts in the world. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu focuses mainly on ground fighting, and 90% of fights and 100% of sexual assaults and rapes end up on the ground. This is why it is the best martial arts for women to learn to defend themselves. Men on average are taller and stronger than most women, so women must know how to use that disadvantage to their advantage. A big majority of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is transitions, sweeps, and reversals. This is when someone is applying pressure in a specific area of your body, and without using strength, you guide that force in a direction that allows you to get to a more dominant position, take their back, or in a woman's case, be able to get away. The best example of one of these moves that will help women is the knee on hip move. This move is for when someone is trying to mount someone. You quickly bring your knees to your chest, which puts your knees on the attacker's hips. As they apply pressure to your knees through their hips, you quickly push upwards and slide your hips to the side. This creating a situation where the person on top has all their weight in a downward momentum, but with nothing to support that weight. This causes them to fall flat on the floor. The person on the bottom, now to the side of them, can choose to attack, or in a case of a violent crime, get away to safety. There are hundreds of moves like this in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that can be used for women to get out of bad situations. Having this knowledge is not only good for when someone is violently attacking you. Studies have shown that simply training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can increase a woman's strength and endurance, along with increased understanding of body mechanics and self-esteem, so women don't have to walk around feeling so fearful. I want to give you an example of how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu saved a woman. Kelon Heron is a woman from Seattle who went out for a run one day. As she was running, she stopped to use the bathroom. When she got out of the bathroom, she began to dry her hands and noticed something was wrong. A man followed her into the bathroom. 40-year-old Gary Steiner, a registered sex offender, followed her into the bathroom. He immediately took her down to the ground and hit her, and a fight began on the bathroom floor. Kelly used one of the many escape drills she had practiced and was able to get the man off of her, and she was able to run into a stall. She accidentally jammed the door while trying to shut it with her foot, resulting in her attacker entering from the side and proceeding to beat her in the face with his hands. She then used another reversal and was able to lock the man in the stall just long enough for her to get away and get help. 433,648 of these crimes happen every year. That's 72 a second and 2 rapes a minute. These are hard facts to hear, but we must hear them in order to improve them. Size and strength does not matter in Jiu-Jitsu. This is why it is the best martial arts for women to use. And you don't want to be a victim. You want to be a Kelon Heron.